Is there a prompt? There are 6 emergency exits.
Hello, everybody. This is Ron, your captain speaking. We are currently 30,000 feet in the air, and we haven't even left the airport. We just lit the joint. Just kidding, a little pilot humor there. We like to have fun. Our destination today is Casablanca, Morocco. So everyone, sit back, fasten your seatbelts, and prepare for takeoff. We will be arriving in 6 hours.
7-footers gang, what is going on? We are back. Jarod and Jenna here. What is happening in those streets over there, Jarod?
You know, trying to stay cool, trying to maintain, avoid all this COVID excitement. Because look, people, we are still in a pandemic. I know y'all thought and you forgot and you started wilding once the weather got warm. Now all those cases are climbing back up again. So in case you forgot, wear a mask when you go outside. And masks cover your nose and your mouth, people.
Exactly. As New York Governor Cuomo says, it is not a chin guard.
Exactly
So,
right.
No one told you to wear a chin guard. So wear your masks. The 7-footers will be wearing our masks. And we need to jump into some serious topics concerning masks. COVID-19. And it's not going anywhere. As Jarod mentioned, the surges continue all over the country. And Florida, where the NBA bubble is also seeing a surge, which is extremely worrisome. And today, well, I shouldn't even say today, we just recently learned that James Harden and Russell Westbrook have tested positive for COVID-19, two of the NBA's biggest stars who also happen to be on the same team. Not good news for the Rockets, but what have you heard, Jarod?
Yeah, so the Rockets traveled down to Orlando to the Walt Disney World bubble last week, and it was discovered that Westbrook and Harden were not traveling with the team. Then, of course, people were wondering, hey, what's going on? And the thing that we have to remember about this is that people's medical results, which is what a COVID test is, that's protected by law. That's unless the person wants to volunteer that information, no one's supposed to know that, right? That's just how it goes. Because if you look at the NBA, they send out these press releases every day about about who tests positive and who doesn't. Sometimes there are names attached to it, sometimes there's not. Right. And again, that's because it is up to the patient to decide if they want to let it out that it is me who tested positive. Now, Russell Westbrook did go on his Instagram and confirm that he did test positive. And Shams Charania of The Athletic confirmed that James Harden also tested positive. They will continue to quarantine, and when it is deemed safe for them to travel, they will travel down to Orlando and then follow the protocol whereby they isolate outside of the bubble first, get 2 consecutive days and potentially more because they've already had a positive test of a certain amount of days of negative tests consecutively. Once that hurdle's hit, they are then allowed inside the bubble and they can rejoin their team and move forward. And I believe Mike D'Antoni said he's not concerned. He thinks Westbrook will be fine when he gets back. I haven't heard too much around Harden, though we did see video of him during the earlier part of the shutdown. He did lose a lot of weight and was working out. So, you know, we hope things are going well with there. I haven't heard anything around James from any of his people or the Rockets, but, you know, we'll keep our ears to the ground on that.
Right. Seems to be hush-hush around Harden, but like you said, Westbrook spoke out, and he did say that he's feeling good. I believe he was asymptomatic as well. Was that correct? Okay. So, yeah, as the commonality with a lot of these NBA players, which can presumptively be thought maybe it's, you know, their high immune systems, their athletic stature that really helps with this COVID-19, but then again, it is unpredictable. So,
well, that's the thing, right, Jenna? Like, we just don't know. Like, that's the thing about it's called the novel coronavirus for a reason, because we don't know much about it. And we're learning, literally, the epidemiologists we talk to, they're learning new things by the day. And the big thing we don't know is we don't know what the long-term impact of having it is and what it could potentially mean. So everybody's just, you know, being cautious and really just going one day at a time, which is all you can do.
Exactly. And another player we also recently heard about, Sacramento Kings forward Harrison Barnes, also tested positive for COVID-19. So he will be isolating until he is deemed healthy as well. And the cases continue to roll in, and they're diminishing in numbers, but they're still popping up, which is a huge concern. And we'll be keeping an eye out on everything. Now, moving on and moving forward, we need to discuss when the players get back on the floor, what will be on the backs of their jerseys. We already learned that the NBA sent out a detailed list of choices that the players can make. A lot of people spoke out, including Jaylen Brown of the Celtics, saying that he was unhappy about the way it was handled, as well as some Sixers players as well. And now we have more players saying that they're not even having anything on the backs of their jerseys. Hence, Jimmy Butler, who said he stands with all people united. He doesn't even want his own name on the back of the jersey. Talk to me a little bit about this, because these are some interesting takes from these players who are using their platforms to speak up about Black Lives Matter, social injustice, everything.
You know, it's a really challenging situation from the standpoint of I understand Adam Silver and the NBPA and Michelle Roberts, the NBPA, working together to want to do something whereby they want the players to be able to feel comfortable using their platform. But, you know, the issues we're talking about here are major, systemic, deep-seated issues that have been going on in this country literally since its inception. Equality or Black Lives Matter on the back of a shirt, let's be frank, ain't gonna do shit. Like, it's just not. Now, there's nothing wrong with having it there. And if any player wants to have whatever message they want, I am down and in support of that. But this idea that, if these statements on the back of these jerseys are some earth-shattering, groundbreaking movements, they're not. Look, if we want these things to change, it's about action. And LeBron James is someone who came out and he said, you know, he's just going to have James on the back of his jersey. And, you know, obviously anytime LeBron does anything, it's major news and headlines. People that don't like him are hating. Oh, I thought you were all about whatever. Now you don't. It's like, you look through LeBron's track record and what he has done with his actions will do far more than any word or message on the back of a jersey. Again, I'm not saying that if you don't want to have one, you can't put one on there. That's fine. And there is something about when fans are watching on TV and they see these images on the back of these messages on the back of the jerseys, yeah, that will continue to get reinforced. But ultimately, words without action are what? Nothing, right? Like nothing. So great. We love it. We love it out there. And this is not just about the NBA players. This is about me. This is about you. This is about every human being and every citizen walking in the face of the earth. If we all want something to change and be better, we can't just talk about it. We got to be about it and do things, right? Yeah, it's being out in the streets, it's protesting, it's voting, it's holding local elected officials accountable, it's making sure that there's diversity and inclusion in your workplace. It's all of those things together simultaneously. So yes, name a message on the jersey, great. Is it some master like, oh, if they do this, what a great, no, because no, it has to be backed up and supported by action and things. And there are plenty of players like Jaylen Brown, like LeBron James, we mentioned, and coaches like Doc Rivers, who are doing things out there in the community, who are speaking up and who are putting their money and their time and their efforts where it matters. Kawhi Leonard, various others, right? So to me, the idea of who is and who isn't, like, this is a silly story that, like, you know, media outlets that I don't want to call out are just, you know, they need to find something to talk about. And it's like, guys, this ain't it. Like, it's just not. This ain't it.
No, exactly. And like you mentioned, Kawhi Leonard as well spoke out too. And in the short, I'm just paraphrasing, but he said, it's not about the jersey. It's not about the name. It's not about the saying. It's not about any of that. It is about action and doing the work. I think were the words that he said, doing the work. So hopefully we will continue to see these players doing the work like they have vowed, and I'm very confident that they will. As for the jersey situation, I will note that Jimmy Butler did note to reporters that the league did not sign off on his request yet. So that'll be interesting to see how the league handles it, because I do, in my opinion, really genuinely think that the league was acting in good faith when they sent the list that everybody's talking about. And I did not see the list. I have heard here and there that it was a wide, long list. However, you can't necessarily, when you think about it, when you take a step back, put a cap on this.
Well, that's the thing, right? It is, once you open that Pandora's box of, okay, we want to put messages on your jersey, if you limit what can be said to 5 things. Well, what if one of those 5 things don't fit what I want to talk about, right?
Right.
And and I want to be clear about something. You and I love the NBA. I think Adam does a great job. The NBA often gets a lot of credit because it's not the NFL, right? Like, because the NFL of the 2 leagues is the worst when it comes to all of this stuff, right? But what we also have to remember is the NBA is a business that has corporate partners. And that is the issue that we should really be tackling into, right?
Yeah.
Because what the NBA is, and Adam is always walking this tightrope of, is the owners, whom he actually in fact works for, and the corporate partners and the broadcast partners who pay the bills, right? And not upsetting those people. And oftentimes, I'm not saying the broadcast partners per se, but the corporate partners and maybe segments of the broadcast partners constituency generally don't vibe and don't roll along with this idea of Black equality and Black Lives Mattering and various social justice and and matters of race relations and police brutality, which is why it's this constant tightrope and walking around, because Adam can't, for lack of a better phrase, piss off the money, right? Like that's just what it is. And so it's this constant tension and tightrope, because the players, they are the main attraction. They're the stars, right? So no LeBron James, no Giannis Antetokounmpo, no James Harden, no Nikola Jokic, no. Well, I ain't watching. Like, you know what I mean? So we tune in to see them. So it's this constant, sort of tug and push, pull, tug and push. And what we're seeing right now is that all bubbling up as it relates to what's happening in the larger country, in the larger society we live in. And I always say this, and Jenna, you know this idea that sport is this unifying whatever, and it like erases all racial tension and blah, 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 blah. Sport is a microcosm of the society in which it inhabits, right? You think that all the unrest going on out here in the world, sports world is immune to that? Obviously not, right? So it's just that those issues now get even magnified more because of the small nature of this little tiny ecosystem, which is the NBA in the larger society. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. And as things happen externally, right? How are the players dealing with that? Are they answering questions about that? Are the media who is in the bubble and asking questions like that? It'll all be fascinating to see.
It definitely will be. I can't wait to see how they continue all of this and really try to make a mark on the world. So that will be interesting. I'm sure we'll have more news to report in the days coming. But switching gears a little bit, let's talk about some body transformation. Okay? This is like the entertainment reporter coming out inside of me, like before and after pics. We need to talk about the Orlando Magic's Mo Bamba, okay? This man is actually unrecognizable, okay? You sent me a great tidbit here that he spoke to a reporter and said that he committed to a diet, added muscle and weight during the shutdown. Now he's up to 252 pounds, and he put on 20 pounds of muscle. He is huge, chiseled from the neck to the cheeks, all the way down. It is actually insane. I'm so happy for him. And I say this because I have to pull up a photo
of you and him,
show you of him and I when he just got drafted. He looks like a different person. He's so tiny. What do you think of this, Jarod? What was your initial reaction?
Well, that's the big thing that the casual fan often misses about this league, right? And I say this often, this is a grown man's league, right? Like you can be tall. I mean, oh yeah, and even in that photo, right? He's not small in that photo at all, right? But he got yoked while we were under quarantine, and he said he committed to his diet and he put on muscle. And that's the biggest thing that the NBA, when young guys come into the league, they learn. I talk to them all the time about it. Think about it. When we were in our teens, 19, early 20s, right? You living that college life. Man, you're eating pizza at 3 a.m, whatever. You're just, you're wilding because you're young and your body can handle it and you can recover. Mm-hmm. Now, that's fine for someone who's in college and just doing whatever. But if your goal and if your job is to play professional sport, you can do that and still play. But if you want to have a lengthy career and be at your tip top and your optimal, that ain't the way to go. And most guys don't learn that until probably year 3, 4. They start being like, all right, I got to start changing my diet. So it's really great that he picked this up during the quarantine. I'm sure it was the quarantine situation. He was like, you know what? I'm exhausted after, in games. Sometimes I don't have the energy. I don't have the muscle and the strength when I'm in the post and I'm banging against Jokic and these other big dudes. And now he's like, okay, I'm getting strong. When I got Giannis coming full freight at me, right? I got to be able to stand up and take that hit at the rim. And so I love it. I love that he's dedicated to his body, because that's the thing. These guys trade and earn their living based on their bodies. And so you have to be able to put the work in on that. And of course the on-court work, obviously your skill, that's how you play and get better. But that physical specimen itself, it has to be right. So kudos to the young man. I'm happy for him.
So happy for him. And I actually am going to eat my own words here, but I think I recall saying sometime last year, I was like, where is Mo Bamba? Like, where has he been? Is he good? Like, what's happening? So here I am eating my words, Mo Bamba. You are back here.
Well, hold up. Yeah, he got 20 pounds of muscle. Let's see when they step onto the court, has his game gotten better too? We'll see.
I'm interested to see how it alters his game, though, because that amount of muscle gives you that kind of like PJ Tucker strength down in the paint, banging people up.
He can bang and score on the low post now, and if he can step out and hit that J as well. Hey, he can rebound, he can shot block, defend at the rim. That'd be a nice piece for Orlando.
Oh, you know it. All right, moving on, because there is a ton of news to get through. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about some salaries. Because ESPN is reporting that Victor Oladipo's $3 million in his remaining salary is up to question right now. And as we know, Victor Oladipo has opted out of this season to focus on his health, and obviously amid the COVID-19 pandemic. But in the short, before I get your take on this, so under the rules that the NBA has established for the restart in Orlando, players who were healthy but opted out not to play have to forego their remaining salary for the season. Now, 2 weeks ago, in an interview with The Athletic, Oladipo said he was healthy but decided not to play to ensure his recovery on his quad tendon tear, which happened in January 2019, was fully ready to go for the next season. So now he's in a reported salary dispute with the Players Union, and they're trying to review the situation to see. I mean, he's got $3 million remaining on his salary. Tell me your thoughts on this. Is it fair the way the NBA is going about these things?
I mean, look, the NBA needs that money. Okay, this is what it's coming down to. Not having the season continue out the way it did means that the league is losing money, right? A lot of those broadcast money, they're not getting paid. Ticket gate revenue, of course, all that's out, right? So that's a big push and reason why they're pushing to finish this season, because they want to get and recoup some of that broadcast money. And let us not forget the Daryl Morey China situation that happened in the beginning of the year that also cost the league money, right? So all told, I mean, and the reports speculate, but the league has lost $200 million. And that matters, right? Like, that ain't chump change. So, it is. And so the league now saying for players who opt out, right? It's like, okay, you're not getting penalized, but in a way we are penalizing you because you're not going to get your salary, particularly if you are deemed healthy. And so Victor is deemed healthy. And he said himself, I am healthy enough to play, but I want to make sure I'm fully ready. But the recent, why it's kind of like a little twist, he went down with the team to Orlando and has been practicing. So everybody's like, well, wait, what's going on? Are you healthy? What's good? If you're practicing, why aren't you playing? And it's this whole scenario. And I think, look, he's got to be smart. And I understand it from his standpoint. The man's coming off a quad injury. Not safe to mention the whole COVID situation, right? So he wants to make sure he is in the best possible shape and condition to make sure that his long-term career continues. So there's going to be some push and pull on that $3 million. I mean, my thing is like, that's the man's money. Give him his cash. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
But you know, this is what the league and the PA signed off on. So
It's the whole situation with Victor Oladipo is very interesting because he, in the same report as ESPN, that they are reporting the salary dispute, they also reported that the Pacers fully support Oladipo and are willing to pay his salary to him. Now, like you said, I don't blame him for sitting out because he's the Pacers' face. He's the franchise player. But there's also reports that he's thinking about playing. So I'm not sure what's going on. But Nate McMillan said earlier in the week that they're not really focusing on whether he's coming back or not. He's going hard in practice. He's playing with the team. So I don't know. Maybe he might have a change of heart.
He might. Because, you know, the first step is going down there. And I think these guys are such competitors. And once he starts lacing it up and sweating on the court with his guys, he's going to want to be out there with them. But that's the other piece, again, that fans oftentimes just, they lose sight of. This is these dudes' careers, right? So they have to be mindful and make sure that, hey, am I going to be able to play this game for a long time? Of course, nothing's guaranteed, but why do something that could potentially risk and make something worse for me going forward? So I get where Vic's coming from here.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I definitely do too. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Let's get into the bubble a little bit. Let's chat about the bubble and really the safety protocols and the different health concerns and things going on. Like you and I chatted before we hopped on the air here, we're seeing some of our journalist friends going down to the bubble. They're kind of chronicling what's going on down there. And there are different quarantine days and different rules for the players as opposed to the media. So basically, in the short, the protocol, if you leave the campus without approval, you have to have a mandatory 10-day quarantine in your hotel room with enhanced nasal testing for coronavirus. Now, if you receive approval to leave the campus, you have to have 4 days in quarantine as long as the player has tested negative each day that they've spent outside the campus. Going to the media standpoint now, we saw Taylor Rooks' post, we saw Rachel Nichols' post, and a number of different journalists. They have to stay quarantined in their rooms for 7 days, and they have to pass the coronavirus test each of the 7 days to be able to leave and not have their meals delivered to the door and things like that. Have you heard anything from, people down in the bubble? What's going on? I know that you've been chatting with some of your friends down there. What's happening?
The big thing, and just want to be clear for the delineation, the reason why the media has a longer quarantine time before they get into the bubble is because the media flies commercial, right?
Okay.
Whereas players fly on chartered planes, right? So the idea there being is that, well, you can control a chartered flight with who is on there versus a commercial flight.
Yeah.
That's just free for all, right? Okay. So that's one thing.
Glad you pointed that out.
Yeah. So secondly, so obviously there are people down there. You mentioned Rachel, Taylor Rooks, ESPN's Malika Andrews, who I spoke to, is down there. You know, and Malika's been all over ESPN and SportsCenter and the various ESPN platforms talking about and if you follow her on Instagram, you can see the various procedures and protocols that are happening, right? You are eating your meals, now that you're in the bubble, you have your designated areas where you pick up your food, but you're going to your room. There's not so much like, leaving the bubble and doing those different things. And if you do leave the bubble, as was listed in that, in the breakdown you just gave, there are specific rules for when you re-enter and how you manage that. And look, again, the league is doing the best that it can to keep this as an enclosed situation and limit the spread of the virus. I mean, Adam has said it, and he hasn't been clear about the numbers, but he said the bubble is meant to withstand a small amount of coronavirus cases. Again, he didn't specify what small is. And he also said, if there are a large number of coronavirus cases, again, didn't say what large means, that will require the league to shut down. And I think that's the point where people are concerned because as humans, we don't like uncertainty. We need to know, okay, is it 5? Is it 10? Is it 20? Is it 30? What's the number? And the thing is, he can't give a number, right? Because if he gives the number and then he realizes, maybe that's not so bad and we're okay. Well, you said 30, we got to cancel, right? So it's a very tenuous situation and a tightrope that he has to walk throughout this whole scenario. But what we're having now are, look, we've already seen in situations, Jenna, like the Rockets, Bruno Caboclo, and the Kings, Rashawn Holmes, already broke protocol, right? Now, it was accidentally, right? Rashawn Holmes allegedly went outside to go pick up food, outside of the designated marker area for the campus. Rashawn Holmes left his hotel room, like just his room, not like, but he's like, oh, I didn't realize I couldn't, like, I had to stay in. Yeah, dude, these are the rules.
See,
right?
I would have made that mistake, though. I would have done that.
Right.
I would have left the hotel room.
And everybody's like, oh my God, but these are the strict rules that have to happen to limit the potential of an outbreak. Because the reality is, look, people are going to catch cases in there. It already happened. So the idea is we got to limit it. We don't want everybody to get it. And that's why these rules and the protocols have to be followed.
And it's scary too, because I mean this in the most respectful way, but especially with these young guys, they're young. They're not meant to be, and anyone is not meant to be locked in a room. So as a young person, I get it, but that's what I mean by those are going to be the challenges, to actually get these guys. It's like giving a kid candy, that candy challenge, and saying, okay, you can't eat one until I get back. And it's just like, It's like they're freaking out. You know what I mean? Like, I get it from a social standpoint, but this is serious.
No, yeah, and and it's so interesting because you see all different players with different sort of setups, right? Like CJ McCollum of the Blazers has like his whole setup with like the various books and his meditation and different things that he's doing, and like so CJ's like got his whole setup, right? And then you have certain guys. All right, I got my Xbox and this and whatever. Okay, it's like what everyone is having their thing to keep them sort of zoned in and prepared and ready. And look, we're going to hear more about these stories as we continued. I mean, look, we already heard the Nets just signed Michael Beasley, and Beasley already he left the Orlando bubble, and that's because he tested positive for the coronavirus, right? And it's just sort of like, yo, there are going to be cases in this. It's inevitable. Like, the question is, again, can these rules and restrictions that are put in place, if they are followed to a T, it will minimize it, not stop it, minimize.
And that's the thing I think we need to emphasize here. That's a great point. The NBA, and again, not giving them any leeway because they're obviously one of my favorite leagues, if not my favorite, but they're trying to minimize this. They're not saying, hey, everybody's going to come down here, nobody's going to have it, we're immune. Like, they're trying to minimize it. So when people freak out, when they see one or two cases, it's like, hey, this could be a lot worse. We're trying to minimize the spread here. And that's the key word right there, minimize.
Yeah, it's all about spread, minimizing the spread of it. And again, hoping that they can continue this entire finish this season with as limited amount of cases as possible. But, we shall see, because we'll have some things coming up as we finish up the show with some, some more lighthearted things, but still issues that are that are things to be
all I'm
mindful
going
of.
to say before I get to this lighthearted stuff is, if LBJ tests positive, call your girl to see if she's good. You better call your girl to see if she's good, because I'm not going to be. That's it. That is it. Somebody call Maverick Carter, put this man in a glass case. I can't deal.
Put this man in a glass case. And just really quick, so that we mentioned the teams are all down there. They're all practicing. Scrimmages are going to start next week, the 22nd to the 28th, the inter-squad scrimmages. And then July 30th, they're going to have the seeding games to figure out how the playoffs match up. And our first games, and I have to say, Jenna, as much as I'm, tepid and like worried about everything going on, I am looking forward to seeing basketball again. And those first two matches we have on the 30th, Utah, New Orleans, and the Clippers and Lakers. I mean, hey, if you're New Orleans, New Orleans, if they go on a run, win all their games, and they got to get some help, right? Memphis is to lose, and a couple teams above them have to lose. But hey, everybody wants to see Zion, and Zion looking pretty yoked himself.
That mask photo? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it'll be interesting. And the Utah Jazz, it'll be interesting to see the experiment that is the Jazz. Have Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell gotten over there, whatever, and I'll be ready to roll and do our thing. We'll see.
To that, like it's a new episode of Young and the Restless, because I want to see the interaction. I want to see them in the huddle. I want to see if they talk to each other, if they do a little, kind of deal on the court. Because I'm watching.
You're
right?
watching the body language.
And the Clippers and the Lakers. I mean, come on.
Yeah, man.
Come on.
Kawhi, board man gets paid.
Oh yes, that. And did you see him break out the laugh a little bit in the bubble?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
what a time!
Just to let the fans in on this. So if I've done a little bit of this, not much, but I'll do more as we start getting closer. If you're covering remotely, you like we are covering the league, you tap into Zoom meetings post practice and post games and whatever. And the person who was asking Kawhi a question, obviously a Clippers beat reporter, his internet was like, whatever, the signal was choppy and it was delayed. And so Kawhi was just like, hey man, I can't hear that. Like he had his Kawhi laugh, like, what? Like, this is wild. So it's going to be so hilarious. Like these interactions with these guys from a media perspective, as we're like asking questions over Zoom from literally thousands of miles away. But it is what it is. That's what technology is for. We'll see. But Jenna, we got some fun stories to wrap this. I don't know if they're fun stories, but they're jokes. We got to laugh, right? Amid all this, we have to laugh.
This is what is getting us through this very dark time, because the jokes and the memes that are happening online about this damn bubble are the funniest ish I have ever seen. Okay, let's talk about how Shams reports that multiple tips have already been placed into the NBA's anonymous hotline.
Snitching hotline.
Like literally, people are already snitching.
Jenna,
like,
who do you think?
Can you imagine?
Who do you think the number one player is snitching? I think. Well,
good question.
I have a thought who could be one of the number one snitchers.
I do too. So who's yours?
Chris Paul.
Oh, well, there ain't no doors for him to probably go. I can't. I'm gonna get out of control. I'm out of control.
Chris Paul stays snitching, right? I mean, and I don't mean that in that negative sense. But remember, he was the one that knew the rule. Yo, his jersey's untucked. That's a technical foul.
100%. Paul is hysterical.
I can see Chris get on the phone. Hey man, I seen them. They're out by the teacup rides. They ain't supposed to be out there.
That's it. Look to the right behind the pink cup. You'll find them crouching down. Can you imagine? Yeah. Literally.
But
I want to know.
It is. Like, see, what the NBA needs to do is release the audio tapes from those snitching lines. That's what they got to do, because that will be hilarious.
When and if the world is back to normal, and this is probably going to be years, they're going to have a special that's called The Tapes. I'm telling you right now. They're going to release it. And it's just going to be audio footage of different players' voices and different things. Yo, I saw Bron down by the pool. He had a bottle of vino, and he was getting wild.
And
like,
he wasn't wearing no mask. I saw.
No mask. That is it. I'm breathing all over the place with that vino mouth. Like, can you...
Hey man, we got to get these jokes off, because
All right, this one is just for you because you make these jokes all the time. A recent conversation with Taylor Rooks and the Nets, Spencer Dinwiddie, who, as you guys may know, tested positive for coronavirus, so he's going to the bubble after his team. They were talking, and she said,
has he said he's going? I thought he hadn't confirmed he was going.
Is he not? He hasn't confirmed, but he's supposed to be evaluating or something.
He's still thinking about it. Okay.
He's thinking about it. Thank you for correcting me on that. So Bleacher Report's Taylor Rooks is having a conversation with Dinwiddie, and she says, do you have any advice for the people that are in the bubble already? And, he's saying, don't call the hotline, don't do this and that, and don't bring in any work from LA. Can you translate that for us, Jarod, seeing as you that very well?
Well, so when Spencer says don't bring in any LA work, he's basically saying don't fly in any,
Imports.
people.
I'm looking for the right word. I don't know. Don't find any friends.
Yeah, that's a good word. Don't fly any friends or companions in. None of that. No LA work down there. We don't really want to be you know.
Which is just so funny to me because a couple episodes ago, go check it out, guys. We were talking about what's going to happen, like with these guys. Are they going to have friends or are they going to play checkers?
And actually, just to confirm that, Dinwiddie is confirmed not going at all. Period. So he is not going at all. No, yeah, I mean Spencer. So Spencer offered some advice. He told his fellow players, no snitching. Don't be calling the hotline snitching. Don't fly any LA work down.
That was the funniest thing. And you could see Taylor on the camera.
Oh, she was
She's
dying.
like, oh, snap.
She was dying. Like, Spencer's a funny guy. And I mean, look, don't call the snitch hotline. Don't cross the line to get Postmates. Don't fly LA workout. And the Brooklyn Nets are coming for you. Those were his messages.
Oh, yeah, the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, they're coming for you.
But don't fly LA workout. That, I mean, look, let's just say, all right, NBA guys are known, well, athletes in general. Let's not limit this to NBA guys. Athletes are known to have lots of friends and companions that they bring around from time to time.
They meet new people.
Yeah,
they create the culture.
Sure, all that. And so, don't be flying no LA workout. That's all. Okay, moving on.
I love how we call it LA work, though. I was losing it. And last but not least, we got to mention this one because this tweet has since gone viral. We have this,
Speaking of LA work,
it's a random girl.
Speaking of LA work.
She may have been employed in LA. She tweeted, quote, I already got invited to the bubble. Yeah, the season definitely ended early. The tweet has since gone viral, but take me through how it extended to Mo Bamba and my boy D-Mint.
I was dying. Well, first of all, you know, the internet, jokes greater than facts, right? That is just, that's how the internet works. So everybody on Twitter especially likes to think they're a comedian, right? I think they're the funniest person in the world. That's just the nature of that app, right? So this particular woman who apparently knows NBA players, said, already, tweeted out, already got asked to fly out this season. Because her mindset it was, well, if I'm being asked, I know I'm not the only one. They gotta be other people gotta be asked to fly out as well.
At least he's woke.
and so she was laughing, and this is her moment to go. And she actually pulled the tweet down, but it was too late because you know how the internet works, man. Once it's up there and it went over, and it's already screen grabs, so everybody's got it, and everybody's laughing. And I believe someone quoted it and said, Spider Mitchell, you wilding already. Like, it is just like, and he out here catching strays. Like, what? I don't even know this person. Why are you talking to me? Like, and it's hilarious because, the NBA is a interesting ecosystem, right? These guys, these players, it's a fraternity, and these companions and friends that they know, it's not a wide circle of them either, right? So
no, it's kind of like it's kind of what you experience in your own kind of life and group of friends, even like think of it as a high school lunchroom.
Yeah.
You got the popular kids, and you got the LA folk, and then you got everybody else. So, hey, to each his own. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see the happening down.
I will say, though, Mark Spears did say there are so many various checkpoints within the bubble that it's going to be very hard for the LA work, or the companions to actually get past all these checkpoints. Because remember, they're not going to have the special, so they can't just be rolling it out of there like that. Right. Yeah. So again, remains to be seen. Stay tuned. More on that.
One last note, I would die to see like some of, I guess, the less experienced guys in the league try to like ask one of the trainers like, yo, how do I get an extra wristband, or how do I do this? And it's like, bro, nah, like, this ain't it. It's not time.
Well, and to be fair, let's also be clear about something. The players ain't gonna be the only ones trying to fly workout. Now, they may be the only ones who can fly a workout, but remember, there are team officials, NBA personnel, media, right? Listen, other people in the bubble might try to bring in guests. Just putting that out there.
Hey, we'll be keeping an eye on it. Probably find most of it on the tag page or the hashtag page on Twitter if you want to check that out. Before we wrap things up here, though, we got to end it on a real nice note here. My guy, my longtime guy, Kyrie Irving, him and his older sister, they have teamed up to do something amazing. He has created his Kyrie 6 upcoming shoe, and it's been all inspired by her. Jarod, take us through it. It is a dope shoe, and I need it immediately.
Yeah, so this is Kyrie's signature line in the upcoming colorway of the Kyrie 6. It's a tribute to his older sister, Asia. Kyrie and Asia are super cool, and it's really awesome because the strap has Asia along the side when you pull it over the top. It's a white shoe with a purple and looks like a navy kind of camouflage print in the top. The swoosh is in an orange outline, white on the side, yellow
like
accents.
You see how the swoosh is like stitched like that? So cool.
Yep, yellow accent. It looks really, really cool. And, you know, it's really about giving an opportunity for women to get engaged in the sneaker culture, be inspired. You know, Kyrie was very big on making sure that this sneaker was his line was affordable, right? And at 140, Kyrie's sneaker line is one of the more affordable sneaker brands, sneaker lines out there. So listen, it's a great way to showcase a brother-sister relationship, giving women a chance to showcase their love and their interest for sneakers. Asia and Kyrie did a Instagram live a couple of days ago talking about it. It's just nice to see, you know, brother-sister love, you know, what that's all about, what the sport of basketball means to them. And Kyrie and Nike, Asia having that opportunity to sort of have her imprint on that shoe. So cool job. And they haven't announced the drop date yet, but stay tuned. I'm going to plug my other show, Kicks and Shit Show. We'll probably figure out when that drop will happen, and we'll let you guys know there. But yeah, really, really cool stuff. Kudos to Kyrie and Asia. It's a dope shoe.
Yeah, I love it. I can't wait to cop that, or at least try to, seeing as that probably will miss every single deadline there is and don't know how to work technology. So there's that. But you guys will definitely be covering it on Kicks and Shit. I think it's an incredible new project that you're doing with my girl, Gabby, who I happen to work in the G League with. So we're all intertwined. It's so fun. So catch that when it drops, guys. And in the meantime, check out their episodes. Check out ours. And we are going to be hitting the ground running very soon because, as Jarod said earlier, the scrimmages are starting up. The seeding is starting up. We are going to be in it before you guys know it. And obviously, we're going to talk about the opener with the Lakers and the Clippers and so on, the Pelicans and the Jazz. So stay tuned, guys. Jarod, where can they find us?
As always, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. You can find us on Twitter at Kicks and Shit Show. I'm sorry, at the 7 Footers.
I didn't realize.
I know. I'm like, you can find us on Twitter at 7 Footers Podcast and on Instagram at 7 Footers Pod, at JS Hecker, at Jenna Lemoncelli. You know what the deal is, and we will talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Spent a couple years out here with these raps, trying to have a plan that we made come true. Applied to some jobs, but I ain't hit back. I don't wanna trap, what's a man gonna do? Chevy told me come